This is Heirs to Heresy, part 8. We left off in a rather dramatic moment. We're going to pick up with that now. Our knights are seeking passage out of Royan, have finally secured the means to do so, but at this dramatic moment, while preparing to see themselves out, they have been cornered by a large contingent of the French forces, a mob of almost 100 city guards, a couple French knights led by the barking orders of a knight commander stand outside this foreign artifact shop. The proprietor was trying to sneak out the back, and Elias went that direction as well. However, the forces weren't entirely localized to just the shop's front exterior. When Elias went out back, there was a contingent of city guards and a knight holding the proprietor now hostage, and ordered Elias to surrender himself by order of the king. And Torben and Esteval at the front of the shop were preparing for combat as well. And that is where we left off. And so we're going to get into that here in a moment. But since this is our 8th session, our Templars have gained new gifts each. Only one has a real combat bearing, but another one could come up now. But just for the sake of the recording, we can go ahead and vocalize those now. Elias, what is your 8th session gift?
Yes, I picked Valorous Knight. You are a true knight, a paragon of the order. You use the higher of your courage or fate when determining your maximum fate points. If your courage is lower than your fate, instead add your courage to your fate when determining your maximum fate points. Which, as of this session, doesn't do anything. But as soon as we get down, it's gonna get pretty nice.
Indeed, indeed. Esteval, what about you?
I wound up going with herbalist.
Mm.
So not now, obviously, but you may at some point create medicinal poultices and salves. Creating one of these requires 1 hour, a difficult intellect craft test, and I can have a number of these at any one time equal to my intellect attribute, which is 4. Remedies can be applied to restore 2d3 stamina or uncheck a condition as an action, and I can hand them to others for use later, assuming they'll take them.
Assuming, we're assuming a great deal. And Torben.
I'm going with martial prowess, and so I gain a third action every round of combat that must be spent to parry or attack.
That'll be useful. Let's talk about the lay of the land here. This combat, as it stands at the beginning, will have 3 zones: the interior of the shop itself, the front street, and the back, the back of the shop. Not quite like it's one of those buildings. I don't know the architectural term where it's like it's not quite like a courtyard. It's just like the back area of a cluster of buildings that you can access through like the sides of other buildings. And Elias is in the back with a contingent of city guards and 1 French knight. Inside the shop, Torben and Esteval. And at the front street are 2 mobs of city guards, a French knight, and the French knight commander. Now, we're going to use the shiny new initiative tracker on our character keeper that Ben coded. Thank you for that. There are 3 of you, and as a reminder, the mobs do not have initiative tokens. They only act when either there's an ability that says they get to act, or you roll a miss on an attack. And the knight commander has an ability called Indomitable. So he actually gets a second initiative added to the pool. So between the French knights and the commander, that is 4 initiative tokens being added to the foe side. And now we begin to draw. But before the actual combat begins, the knight commander is considered fast, which means he immediately acts before anyone else goes. But given that he is the commander, he is just barking orders. He is preparing himself for what is coming next, so he'll get his next test with advantage. And he is going to be ready for an attack. He is on the defense.
I also get an attack at the top of combat before initiative is determined.
Opening volley.
I do, yeah.
Oh, okay. That is true. You do get your opening volley. In that case, then I'll actually say that in the fiction, you would actually get to go before him because you are able to launch the attack, not quite from surprise, but from an unknown, like, no, they can't really see you get ready to do this. So, do you wish to do your opening volley here?
I do, absolutely.
Who are you volleying against?
Oh, that's a good question. So we have two mobs, a French knight and a French knight commander,
That's
yes?
correct.
Oh man, do we go for the head of the snake? Um, do we have a second for a meta huddle, boys?
I think a meta huddle is fine. A meta huddle is
Um,
perfectly amenable.
I mean,
Medable.
reducing. Oh, yeah. I don't really want to ask like what's the HP of the mobs,
You're right.
but you know, reducing incoming damage is always good. But that knight commander obviously counts basically as two people. So if we can take him out early, that's a lot of incoming damage that we'll be avoiding, but that's also a big risk. What do you guys think?
I, I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I could clear the horde a bit. Or yeah. Cool. Yeah, great talk. I'm gonna go. So yeah, back in it. I think I'm gonna go for the head of the snake. I'm gonna launch this volley at the commander.
I love it. Go ahead and roll your attack against the Knight Commander.
Sure, and that is still 2d10 if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Do 9 and 2 plus 8 brings it to 19. Wait, yeah, 19.
Yeah, 19. 19 bypasses his defense.
Okay. Ranged damage is damage die plus 8, so it is a d10 plus 8. That is a 7 plus 8 for 15.
15 damage. He has an armor of 7, so that'll just go down to 8 points of damage. But that's still quite a good strike at the start of things. Just to set the scene a little bit, he was out in the street. You see the torchlight of the soldiers beyond the shop windows, and he is just like barking orders to his contingent, but also yelling for you to surrender and enter, and exit so you can be seized by the king's forces. And in the dark of night, lit by torches, as the soldiers are advancing on the front of the shop, you're going to shoot the leader. What does that look like?
I think there's maybe from camera techniques or camera tricks, there is a sort of a deeper dark shadow that we don't even see Esteval in. We just see the bolt go flying from it as this knight commander is like sort of shouting in French and waving his hand and like making gestures, but as his arm is like up in the air, all of a sudden this bolt just comes out of nowhere and like finds its way through a weak spot in one of the armor, and he just like flinches a little bit, but then does the thing where he breaks it off and just like tosses the bolt aside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty rad. He will go, and he has the leader quality, which means that when he acts, a mob under his command can take a single action afterwards. So he is still going to, as I said before, he prepares himself readying for what's to come. So he'll get advantage on his next test. And he is going to stand at the ready, warding off, ready to take any attacks that come out. But he barks orders and is commanding a contingent of the soldiers out here in the street to storm the shop. The mob will take the charge action to rush through, kicking the door open, maybe even like some of them like throwing like torches through the windows and like vaulting over them, rushing inside, weapons drawn. They get a single attack against one of you two with disadvantage. I think it's going to be for the biggest, meanest looking target that they would see when rushing in, as opposed to the more nimble one. So Torben, this is going to be an attack against you, but it does have disadvantage. Do you remind me what your defense is? What they need to hit?
15.
15. That is a 19 to hit. But oh wait, sorry, it was disadvantage. My bad. Hold on. Oh, well, that changes things. I can't do math. That's a 14. So damn. Okay, never mind. Soldiers, the city guards come rushing in, and just a flurry of weapons. And Torben, you are holding the fucking line. Now we actually get into the actual drawn initiative. The first randomly determined token belongs to a foe. I'm going to say that this is out in the back where Elias. I should ask: is it probably clear that you're not surrendering?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not just being like, hey, no, have the grail. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will immediately, take my sword and make it clear that I'm not just gonna stand here.
Yeah, I think the knight that's back here with you is going to run at you with his sword as well. He is going to make an attack. And what's your defense?
That would be a 16.
Okay, well, that's a 12 to hit, so that is not going to land anything. And he will get ready to parry. He just kind of gets a defensive stance. He goes on the offense, you contend with it, and then knowing that you are probably a capable fighter, he prepares himself as well to take you single-handedly if need be, but the mob is at his backing. Second drawn, one of the Templars gets to go. Who would like to go? It says Templar 3, but I just, in this case, it's whichever of you guys want to go.
Do you want to kick us off, Torben?
Sure. All right. Going to launch into an attack with my longsword then.
I love it. This is against the mob of guards.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Love it. Go ahead and roll.
So that'll be with advantage.
Yep.
Because
They
longsword.
charged. Oh, yeah, that's right. And yeah, longsword, that's right.
And that would be, math is hard.
Math is very hard.
7 and 6. So 13.
13 and then plus your attack. Is that total?
13 and attack is plus 5, 18.
So that hits them. That bypasses their defense. Roll your damage.
Damage is a D. Am I doing no one-handed because I have a shield? So
Yeah, that's right.
That is
D12.
D12 and D12 plus 5 is, or sorry, plus 6 is 8.
8. Very good. Yeah, you just begin killing some men as they come rushing in through the windows. Give us a little bit of that scene.
I think when they first rush in, the first thing Torben does is just kind of bash them back a little with his shield and creates a bit of space so he can just thrust his sword into the center of the first guy's mass. And he's looking back at Esteval to make sure he's in a safer position than Torben is, perhaps.
All right, very good. And for your remaining actions?
Oh yeah, I do this again.
Yeah,
because
you have 3 actions. Yeah,
I have 3 actions. 2 d10s, 3 d10s because advantage. Is, I got double 10s.
Oh, so 25 to hit. Critical attack. You get an advancement point, and because it's a critical attack, I believe you're dealing quite a bit of damage.
Yep.
If I recall correctly, I think, is it doubled or hold on, it's been a minute. I don't think we've gotten a critical in combat before, so making sure I know how this works.
It was Elia's very first roll, and then he sucked for everything after.
You double your total damage before reduction is applied, but after you roll the damage, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be 24. 24 damage. I got a 6 plus
24.
6.
Incredible. So Torben, you've killed one of the mobs. You destroyed one of the mobs. 24 men lie dead at your feet. You single-handedly are holding the shop. Like every single French soldier that comes rushing into the storefront, you are cutting down and killing until that first wave has passed, and you and your blade slick with blood, piles of French soldiers standing at like just their corpses at your feet. They are kaput.
Is there more mob?
Not in the store. There's another mob out front with the commander and the knight. There's a mob out back, but the shop right now has just been cleared.
All right, I will. For my third action, I'll parry.
Get your stance ready, absolutely. And it's incredible. Next up in the token bag, it is a foe. A French knight from the street is going to move into the shop behind the large group of men, and is going to now engage Torben in an attack. So he has to move into the zone, then he'll take an attack against you. You are parrying, so I believe his attack gets disadvantage.
Yes.
Very good. Let me roll. That is, well, it can't be a critical because it's disadvantage. So that is going to be 6 plus 6, 12. No. French soldier come running in, and you're already at the ready. Your blade is laid in the right position. You are parrying, you are deflecting, you are holding the fucking line, Torben. Next up, another foe. I'm gonna say this is the next knight. This is the knight commander. He is going to bark out to the mob on the street to also rush in again. But first and foremost, he is going to, let's see here. He's going to charge with his men as well. So he is going to take up a defensive stance, and then he is going to move in, piling into the shop. The mob is going as well. They are going to not charge, not going to be reckless, but they are moving in, and the shop is quickly becoming very crowded. Next up, another foe. I think this has to be the knight commander again, because he's only gone once in this round, and both the other knights have gone. So yeah, he is going, now that he's in here. He's going to attack you, Esteval. And he does have this with advantage because he prepared previously.
Oof. Okay.
That will be a 16 to hit you, Esteval.
Defense is 20.
What does this look like?
I think once he gets inside, yeah, I think it's just like Dumas style, Three Musketeers, just sword swashbuckling. I think Elias dodges away from him and like goes over a table, kicks the table at him, and like he just like cuts this table in half as Esteval like just continuously throws objects at him, and he's just like beating them out of the way. But Esteval is, the defense is basically Esteval just keeping him at range.
Absolutely. I think he's getting quite frustrated by the shit you're throwing at him, and he's going to go for a furious blow against you. This won't have advantage though, because he already spent his preparation. That is a 21. Wait, no, sorry, 22.
This is how Esteval dies.
Yes, he gets to roll his damage twice. However, his defense until the start of his next turn is now 10. So he is gets pretty fucking frustrated and fed up with you, Esteval. You are going to take math is not my strong suit, apparently. 14 points of damage to your stamina. That's a crippling blow for you.
Yeah. And I am out of stamina.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if so my crippling blow threshold is 2. Do I take 2 conditions for this?
No. But you will mitigate the damage by your armor that you are wearing.
Oh, shoot.
Right, yeah.
I was at 11.
Yeah. So you're at 11. So how much armor are you
damage
wearing?
reduction is it's 5 plus 2 from shield. So is that 7?
Was your shield out? Because I feel like
No, I'm using crossbow. Yeah,
So you do. So actually, you only take 9 because you soak 5 of that. But then it still exceeds your crippling blow threshold, so you must mark a condition.
Okay. I think I've got to take stunned.
Okay.
Because if I take 2 damage, then I'll just take another crippling blow.
Exactly. No. How are you kind of getting on the back foot here as he goes forward furiously?
I think he catches up with Esteval. Esteval runs out of things to continue throwing and kicking at him. I think what it does is he full body like hockey shoulder checks Esteval, and Esteval like goes back up against a wall and tries to raise a weapon in defense, or tries to get his shield up, but he beats it out of the way. And because this is cinematic, I think he like grabs Esteval and just like throws him across the room. Why kill your opponent when you can heroically throw them or villainously throw them across the room? Never makes sense, but it's always fun to see.
Absolutely. As he is the leader of the mob will act. They are going to attempt to overwhelm Torben with their numbers and bring the big man to the ground. So they are effectively, this is going to be a contested check against you, Torben. It is just through sheer, just like men going to tackle you and throw you to the ground. You have a horde of these guys doing this. How are you trying to hold against their might?
Does my parry still apply, or was that spent with the last attack?
Let's take a look at the parry. It makes all incoming attacks against you suffer disadvantage. This does not necessarily. Oh, I think okay, yeah. Well, even though this doesn't technically count as an attack, I like it because it makes sense because you were at a good stance for it. I was going to give them advantage because of their superior numbers, but I'll let that eat their I'll let that eat their advantage, so they can just roll flat against you, and it's just going to be they get to roll 2d10 plus 3. So what attribute and skill are you applying to hold your own, to not be knocked down?
I think might is pretty safe, and also it's got to be battle.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Go ahead and roll.
Okay, 2d10. So that's 17 plus. Oh wait, nothing. No, wait. I'm in a different game space.
That's all good.
So that's 17 plus 8.
Wow. Yeah, no, they got a 9 total. So you have men throwing themselves at you, trying to like drag you down. Someone probably even goes to a full body tackle, but you're just taking it. You are absolutely immovable. You are, as all things considered, a pillar of stone that they are fruitlessly trying to knock down, and some of them fall to your blade. It's a Templar who gets to go now. Are we going? Who's going to go next? Esteval or Elias?
Elias, why don't you take it? We haven't been outside in a second.
Sure. Yeah, I think Elias' quote unquote strategy here is fairly simple. He was asked by Torben to get the scup away from here. That is all he cares about. So I would like to charge to move a zone, and then I'm just gonna keep charging until I'm out of this mess. Like I don't care who is still alive. I don't care who I need to kill. I want to get out of here. That is my
Mm.
goal.
Oh, I see. Okay, very good. I think because so you're gonna charge
Yeah, to
out.
move a zone away,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
towards escape, I guess.
here's what I'll say because you're not going for the attack, this won't necessarily be a charge, but you can move. I will say though, given the numbers that are filled here in the back
Mhm.
against you, you have a French knight directly engaged with you in sword combat, and then you have other guards who are rushing forward to apprehend you. If you want to flee this scene, I'm going to have to ask you to use a skill to be able to escape this immediate scene. What attribute and skill would you like to apply to this?
Sure. I mean, if it's a skill, then my first action then will be a prepare, I guess, and then my
Oh, sure, sure.
next, so I get advantage on that, and then I would argue for courage,
I
to
would
sort of
absolutely.
like steel
Yeah.
myself not only against like all of these people wanting to kill me, but also just the fact, that I'm leaving the other two behind with all
Mm-hmm.
these people, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
I have to be strong. I cannot hesitate here.
Mm.
So I would argue courage for that, to sort
Okay.
of see it through and not waver,
Okay.
or faith, but it's the same.
I
So
think courage absolutely makes the most sense here. Uh,
yeah, and then let's see. Which one of my good stats
I
can
don't
I
think any of your
argue
good ones
for?
apply. I really don't.
I inspired him by being such a cool dude.
I don't
Ow,
think
baby,
so.
no. Okay, sorry.
You're
Mikey just
good.
killed me. Um, yeah, no. I guess awareness to find um the quickest route between them.
That's a good argument. Okay. You get a +5 to the roll.
Okay.
Just given the numbers against you and the fact that they're kind of filling the alleyway, I am going to give their opposed roll against you advantage, but they only get a +1 to it. So
Okay.
go ahead and roll.
Um, that is hold on, it's a five, plus five, no, plus six, and it's 10 on the dice for a 16, but I'm going to spend I'm gonna spend a fate point to re-roll this.
Okay. Go for a critical, maybe.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, that is a double seven crit re-rolling it. So
Mm-hmm.
14 plus 5, 19.
Wow, incredible. Yeah, they got a 10, they got an 11 total. So, not only do you escape, Elias, you escape with a flourish. What does this scene look like?
If I can escape with a flourish, if you allow it, I think what I would then like to do, because the proprietor was still alive, right?
Yeah, he was
They were like,
yeah, they were holding him, yeah.
yeah, I think in that case, we see like Elia takes his blade. I think he like sort of ducks under the blade of that French knight, or like the original opponent against him. He ducks under it. He just like with his shield, just does like a shield bash, not necessarily to take him out, but just to like again sort of like Thorben did, create that distance. And he's just weaving and ducking through this. And he's taking out people like if necessary, if they are in his way, but only if he can do it, like quick slash, quick thrust. Like it's all just using that speed, using that to his advantage. But I think he will, given that he's sort of doing this in a, like he's getting in that rhythm of it, he will go sort of, I think he makes his way through like past that proprietor, and just with like like I grab him, slash the guy that was holding it. I just like push him along, basically like dragging him through this field. And then I think there's like just one look over my shoulder as I sort of realize that I'm out of the mob. Just one beat of hesitation where I desperately want to go back for Torben and Estevao. But then I think that proprietor like starts running and Elias snaps out of it, realizes what he's holding, and starts running too.
Yeah, Monsieur Pierre, the owner of the foreign artifact shop, like he's going one direction, you're going another. Like he casts one like last look over at you, looking haggard but sincerely gracious, and gives you like the nod of like endure, fellow soldier, and like and then it's just out of there. The precept of the Royan spy network has not been taken captive yet. And
I think I'll throw out like some like a last daunting bit so that some people follow me to get like some heat of Esteban and Torben, but so that it's like more spread out and I can still just run or lose them.
As you're fleeing down the street, you can hear like the soldiers hot on your heels, rushing forward, some of them peeling off to go after you. But that is your turn, and now Esteval, you get to hold up the last initiative of this first round. What do you do?
Yeah, so we've got these three zones. We've got the front towards the street. We've got inside where I am currently fighting the commander, and we've got the back where Elia was. Is that French knight still out there?
There is still a French knight out on the street. The no, he ran inside. So there's a French knight in the shop. There's a knight commander in the shop, and then there is a mob in the shop as well. So
okay, and me and Torben. So we're all of us are in that same zone right now, right?
Yeah, no one is in the front street yet. Elias has run in that direction, so and then he has knights and a mob on his heels. But the
good news is I lose an action, but I uncheck stunned. That's the first one. Correct. But I only have one action now, and I'm really debating: do I want to move zones or just get my sword and shield out and parry? This is not Esteval's happy place. I think I've just got to buy Torben more time to thin numbers. So yeah, I think the crossbow goes back over the shoulder, and if it's going to be close quarters combat, I got to go sword and shield here. So I'm just going to parry. Oh, you're muted.
So absolutely good to know. Yeah, things are quickly getting overwhelming inside the confines of the artifact shop. Whatever of wealth and note was here is just being destroyed in the chaos. That brings our first round of combat to a close. We're going to redraw the initiative. I think this should work the same as I just delete the row and it regenerates. Yep. Cool. Says a foe gets to go first. And I'm going to say that this foe is one of the knights that's in the back courtyard again, who is now facing the quandary of, does he go after Elias or does he go inside the shop where the noise of combat is? I honestly think it is much more dramatically interesting if the knight goes after the knight. So he is going to yell, some men to follow him, some men to rush the shop to reinforce the others, and he goes running off after you. He has to move into your zone, and
I call him an honorless dog just to make sure that he follows me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he is now in your zone, kind of like chasing at your heels, sword drawn, and he is going to try and run you down, to barrel forth into you, knock you into the mud, and send the contents of your arms sprawling to the earth. You need an attribute and a skill to not be barreled over as the knight gives chase. What do you do?
Oh, it's a contest roll?
It's a contest, yeah. He'll only get a +1 to it, but
Okay. Might
sure.
Plus again awareness, because it does say like ambushes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. That's an 11 on the dice plus 4 for a 15.
He also got a 15. Ties go to the Templars. So you get it. You get it though. There's a scuffle and a struggle going on. And you are no longer escaping him. You're kind of back into quarters with him, but you do not get on the back foot yet.
I love the idea that he like tackles me and I like do like a judo, like I throw him off, but he's like still holding on to my
Uh-huh.
arm or my shield or something, and it's like now just a tussle.
I love that. Templar time. Who's going?
I
Corbin, both
mean,
you and I are still in Perry, so as long as we stay there, it's not like we've lost anything. But that said, it's both of us. Or I guess it could be Elias.
Yeah, I
yeah,
can
I
go
mean,
to so you guys can get the advantage of that parry.
you got
Sure.
a good setup there. So
Yeah, got a
Absolutely.
great setup for it. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll attack him.
Fuck yeah.
Or can I do a charge in the sense that I attack him and then continue running
The charge is specifically that you make an attack at the end of your
to get
charge. Yeah, so you
okay.
can attack and then move, but yeah, it would be two separate
Yeah.
actions.
Okay, well, let's start fighting then.
Okay.
Attack is just 2d10 plus
Yep.
the that is a 17 plus 3 for 20.
Okay, that does hit him. You can get to deal some damage.
Okay.
This is with your
I
longsword, right?
yeah, and I mentioned having a shield, so I'm imagining I'm doing it one-handed.
Hmm.
For
D12.
10 damage.
10 on the die, then plus
No,
3.
plus
Plus 3, I believe.
yes.
13. Not bad. He does have armor of
13
7.
damage.
So that will knock it down to 6 damage, but still respectable. Getting some nice little street side
Yeah.
combat out there as more soldiers are coming around the bend.
For my next action,
Mhm.
I would like to oh, ha, damn it. Should have done a different thing, but that's
Okay.
fine. Um, I mean, I guess let's just attack again, right? Because if I move, he's just gonna move too, and then I'll just attack again.
Great.
Yeah. That is a 13 total.
13 total on the attack that does not meet their defense.
Okay.
And that is your turn. Very good.
Yes,
So,
only 2 actions for me.
again, having a nice little scuffle with the alley knight. Next up in the bag, it's another foe. I'm going to have this be the other knight who is in the shop. Both of you are parrying, and Esteval, you were sort of like retreating a little, like backing up out of, and weapon at the drawn, not quite like leaving the area, but you were kind of like you were on the back foot, so it was clear that you're not comfortable in these close quarters. I think the French knight's going to go for you and leave the mob and the commander to the bigger target threat. So they kind of do a little swap out, and he's going to make the attack against you. He has disadvantage because you're parrying. So,
And just to clarify, it doesn't like cost an action to like switch weapons, does it?
no. I think narratively that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not great. That is a total of 13. No, it's not going to cut the mustard. He's going to do it again. He's just laying into you. And you have a 20, right? What the total is? Yeah, none of these hit. So you have this one French knight in the chaos of the shop as you're kind of like switching your weapons, getting your blade out. He's rushing forward, goes to swing at you. But the thing is, you're very agile, and I can't imagine this is the first large mob scuffle you've been in your life, particularly in close quarters. Probably have been in a few gang fights in your youth. Who knows? But so far, you are holding your own. But this knight is relentless. But that is his turn. Next up, it's the Templar. It's the knight commander. Again, he is going to attack Torben. And Torben, you're also parrying, I believe, right?
yes.
All right, very good. That's good because he got a 10 on one of those dice, so he's going to knock that away. Instead, that's an 11 on his first attack, which isn't quite it. He is going to attack again, just relentlessly charging you. And you'll never believe this. It's not enough either. The Knight Commander is cursing in French, barking out orders. The mob is going to now go for an attack on you, Torben. They have disadvantage as well. And it's very good that they did, but they still managed to get a 19.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay. You only take, oh, geez. Well, you take 10 and then mitigated by your armor.
So that's 10 minus 7, 3.
Okay. You take 3 damage. What's your critical blow threshold?
3.
Is it exceeding or is it matching? More damage in your crippling blow threshold. So you're good. You are holding it. This is the first of the Knight Commanders like fucking assault on you right now. And despite him barreling down on you, how are you standing your ground and holding the fight?
I think Torben is just batting his attacks aside with his shield, and he is blood-soaked and grinning like a madman. He's enjoying this.
I can tell. Next up in the bag, Templar character. Who's going, Torben or Esteval?
Do you want to stay parrying a little bit longer? Because the Knight Commander still has one more action. He's up. He's dealing with you.
Sure, yeah.
Cool. Then I will. I think I'll just be boring and just do a longsword attack against this French knight. And yeah, we don't see Elias in melee a lot, so it's 2d10 plus 5.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 19 total.
19 to hit. This is against one of the guards or the knights?
The French knight that is engaged with me currently.
19 total does. Yeah, that hits him.
Okay, and this is a one-hand longsword hit.
Mm-hmm.
So it is 1d12. It is a 9.
9.
Oh wait, sorry. Plus melee damage.
Yes.
Plus 2, so 11.
Okay, 11. Well, that's good. Well, he has an armor of 7, so that still that gives 4 through, so that's not bad. Because they are more heavily armored than the rank and file guards. That was your first attack.
Yeah. Do I want to go back into parry? I mean, I really do. But I also want to get more damage on the table. But I think if I survive long enough for Torben to get stuff done, I think we'll do better. So yeah, I'll go parry as my second action.
Okay. Very good. Next up, it's the Knight Commander again. He is going to make a furious blow against Torben. And you're still parrying though, so you have disadvantage. So
yep.
I'll re-roll that die. There you go. Oh, geez. That is a total of 18.
That'll do it.
Oh, indeed. Because it's a furious blow. He will roll his damage twice, take the highest result, but his defense is now 10 until the start of his next turn. So takes his dice total. Okay. That is a total of 15 damage. Of course, subtracting your armor. But this will 15... but this is a crippling blow for you.
Yeah, that's 8. So
8 damage gets through. Torben, what condition are you going to mark?
Stunned.
Makes sense. And now, Torben, it is your turn.
I think the attack against Torben, wasn't what he was anticipating because it's the flat of the blade. He was preparing for a slice, and instead he gets batted upside the
Oh, what am I?
head,
Sorry,
which,
I apologize. I realized that I only did one action as him, and he
oh,
also
right.
commands the mob to act. Pardon me. In that case, then he is now going after that furious blow. He is going to take up a defensive stance to help mitigate any damage that's happening between the mob and him. The mob is going to attack. Which of you will it attack? Actually, I think he is because the knight in the street is yelling, and there's the mob in the alley that are coming in for reinforcements. He is actually going to not have the mob in the shop do anything. He's actually barking out orders, and that the mob that is in the alleyway is going to now begin to pursue. Because he sees this like we have bodies of French knights, like we have those under control in here. He is ordering the mob in the alleyway to begin giving chase to make sure that none of them get away. So, Elias, you can see the knights, or rather the soldiers in their rank and file city guard uniforms, come running out onto the street, torches and weapons in hand, running you down. But that was the rest of his turn. And now it's Torben.
I'm going to attack the Knight Commander.
Makes sense. His defense is now 10.
Right. So, cool. Advantage with my longsword. That's 21.
That'll get him, yeah.
And damage is 8.
8. Okay.
8.
Did you roll a 1 on the die or no?
Nope.
Okay, well, that's only
That's
1
it.
damage to him, though, because the rest is soaked by his armor. That's only your first attack. You still get to go 2 more times.
Yeah. Except I'm stunned, so I
Oh,
only
you're
get to
down
go
to
once.
2. Oh, is
Yeah.
it? I thought, well, you have 3, right? So that it's stunned only, you only lose an action. So you have 2
Right.
actions still.
Right. So I only have one more.
Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry. My apologies.
Torben, I'm gonna attack again.
Please go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 18.
Yep. That bypasses his
And
defense.
for damage, it's 9.
Okay. Still 9 gets 2 through. Very good. All right. Let's clear the order. It's a foe now. The knight on Esteval is going to attack. And you're not are you parrying or no?
I am parrying.
You are.
Yes.
All right, he has disadvantage. Very good. Oh, that's the worst I've rolled yet. That is only gonna be 9. That's terrible. And honestly, he's just trying to, I think these guys are just trying to barrel through you. So he's gonna go again. It's not great. No, none of them bypass the 20. You're golden. Again, you're holding against this knight. There are other people like rushing you as well. And as a reminder, the way that mobs work is that unless they're commanded to, they only hit if you miss, or rather, they only get an attack if you miss attacking someone else. So like in this scene, not only are you holding your own against a knight, you are turning around and also pushing away, other combatants and keeping them at bay. That is the knight in the shop. All right, Templar next. Who's it going to be?
If we let me go, I'm back to 3 actions.
Go for it. Hell yeah.
Go for it.
Kick his ass.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
Gonna try. Let's see. Attacking again with longsword. 17. And he's still
17 bypasses his defense.
Well, he'd still be at 10 too, wouldn't he?
Yeah, because he hasn't gone yet. That's right. He's still at 10. Yeah, no, you hit him.
Cool. Damage is, please be better. 11.
Okay. I mean that still knocks him down by 4. Oh yeah, the Knight Commander's on the back foot now. You're really beginning to lay into him, and he's clearly not as cocky and full of himself as he was prior.
Good. Gonna do it again.
Go for it.
15 and for damage, 14.
You said 15 to hit.
15 to hit, yep.
That if that's total, that does not bypass their defense.
His defense is 10.
Oh my god, what am I talking about? Of course it bypasses his defense. Thank you for keeping me honest. Yes. And you said how much damage?
14 damage.
Ooh, okay. I have so that's subtracted down to 7. I have great news for you, Torben. You have not felled him. However, you have, I think for the first time in any combat we've done of the 2 things we've so far, you've brought him past his morale threshold, which means when he goes, he wants to flee. He wants to, leave combat because the fight's turning against him. So things are looking pretty bad for the Knight Commander. And was that your third or your second action?
That was my second.
Oh, well, yeah. Are you trying to go for the finishing blow, or are you going to pedal to the target? Oh, fuck yeah. All right, great.
Yeah. 2 hit and it works, and damage 13.
13. Now, he has the tough quality, which means whenever he goes down, I need to roll a certain die, and on a specific value, he will, instead of going down, regain 1 stamina because he's at 0 and take an action. So I'm going to roll. He does not roll what he needed to. You kill him. What does this look like?
What kind of helmet is he wearing?
He's not. He is just like, this is like some clearly like a veteran or some like highly ranked lord of the military. Just features out, and yeah, we paid for this actor, so
should have worn a helmet. I think Torben just swings his longsword. The guy ducks, and Torben knew he was going to. And the longsword just gets embedded in his skull. And Torben kicks the body off and turns back to the mobs.
Very good. Now, if I remove a foe from the counter, will it fuck with the calculation? That's all right. I'll remove. I'll be removing 2 dice from the counter because the indomitable foe is down. So incredible. And that was your turn. God damn, Torben. Another Templar gets to go now. Who is it? Estevao or Elias?
I'm still parrying, so I would recommend Elia.
All right, Elias.
Sure.
You have a knight on your heels as you're directly engaged with the knight, and you have some of these these French guards rushing forward as well.
I think we need to make this a little bit more horny. So I think we sort of cut to like Elia is like pushed against the tree, like the swords are doing, like clinging with the sword. And I think he like glances and he sees like these other people like starting to rush towards him. And there's like sort of okay, I need to get the fuck out of here and not kill this guy actually. So I think there's like sort of the standoff, and I will also sort of duck and move past him. And as I do that, that will be my first move. So I duck, slip under, move, and then for my second action, I would like to take ward off. So even as I move, I am basically like using the environment and like keeping an eye on these people. So if any foe enters my zone, I get to take an attack against them.
And that attack is
at disadvantage.
Disadvantage, but still very good. Yeah. All right. What is your path of escape? Are you just like running down like road, or are you like beginning to duck through side like passages? What do you see?
Yeah, I think I'm just because I'm imagining, was this like what's sort of the bigger environment? Was this like a more foresty area?
This is
very much the city.
It's very much the city. Yeah, it was this
then I'm basically like taking all of the little alleyways, right? Like I'm ducking left, right, just like the most random route. And after every corner, there's just like a split second where I position myself and wait. Like if someone were to rush against, I just like whack him right in the face. If they don't, I move on. So I basically like just the whole time trying to keep an eye out for basically mini ambushes.
Right. And if you could picture just like the panning like tracking shot of Elias like running through places, and when he's out of frame, we linger on the shot just a little bit longer and we realize there's someone on a rooftop nearby who leaps a gap between buildings and is following Elias. Next up is the Alley Knight, who is now running you down, is going to charge into the fray so that you meet his attack with disadvantage and he makes an attack against you at disadvantage. Swords are clashing right now. Things are a little horny. Both of us are going to get attacks of disadvantage against one another.
Okay. That is still a 17 for me.
That is a 17 that bypasses his defense, and he got a 20 against you.
Yeah, that hits, yeah.
Okay, very good.
At disadvantage?
I know, yeah, he rolled high.
What?
Rolled real high. But I'll let you go ahead and deal the damage against him first if you want to roll.
Okay. Yeah. That is a 5 only. No, +3, an 8.
Okay, so it's only 1 damage to him because of his armor. And remember, I think most weapons, if you roll like a 1 on the die, the total ignores armor reduction.
Yeah, I rolled a 5 on the die.
This might hurt you a lot, Elias.
Before you say it, I'll spend a fate point to reduce that with my fate attribute.
Cool, because
I mean, actually, I don't, because it's not gonna fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Just fucking hit me.
What's your armor total right now?
I have my armor and my shield because I did
7.
one-handed, so a 7.
Okay. That's it. That brings it down to 7 damage. It was at 16. But
Yeah.
and yeah, wait, hold on. What's the faith point reduction thing?
It adds my fate point, so then I would have 10 armor.
That would be useful because it won't bring you.
Oh, then I don't have a crippling blow. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because that would bring you so that would instead be your armor is 10, you dealt 16. So you take exactly 6.
Yeah, so I'll be at 0 and it meets my crippling blow but doesn't exceed, so I don't take a crippling blow.
Yes, I think so.
That's what we said for Torben.
Yes, I think being knocked to 0 is a crippling blow. However, because your current HP is your crippling blow threshold, I'm just gonna say right now, like we'll just edge case say that it's like we're gonna keep it fair. But if you do take another hit past that, you're taking a crippling blow. Because it was just barely enough. What does this scuffle look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's as I described, like I'm waiting behind the corner, the knight comes in, I get like the first swipe, but I think that's what anyone would do. So he was prepared for that. He knew Elia would do that. And I think it like still kind of gets him. And I think there's sort of that beat where he grins up at me and I realize that he let me take that shot at him to get in close. And maybe he has like his sword is like right up to my side and we sort of hear like the squelch as it like actually stabbing wouldn't work very well with a chainmail. So it's just like I think he just pushes me back, having sort of gotten that close to me, as I stagger back into this alleyway and blood is like we kind of see it like starting to pool.
Indeed. Esteval, your turn.
Okay. I can't remember. Did we say we could like delay actions or delay turns?
I don't remember if
okay.
we did. I don't think so.
And then okay, cool. Then I will just be boring and attack the knight I am currently engaged with.
Sure. I just throw out there like how useful it was that you guys killed the fucking commander first. That means that now the mobs can't attack you unless you roll a miss.
Yeah.
So like this is extremely useful to the economy.
Extremely useful for the economy. Fantastic. That's a 19 on roll number one.
That bypasses the knight's defense, yeah.
Cool. Longsword, one-handed is D12 plus 2. Do. 9.
Okay, it's 2 damage to him for your first attack.
Cool. And this he has not acted yet this turn, right?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm going back into parry stance then.
Go
Just
for
gonna
it.
parry for
All right.
second action.
All right, we're going to clear the board. And I'm going to add a 4th token to the Templar pool. What's happening there? Foe's turn. It's going to be the knight in the shop. Having seen you contend with him so readily, but Torben has just felled the commander. He lets out like a shout of rage and lets the mob kind of intercede in your path to cover the two of you. To cover you, and he is going to go into an attack against Torben. You're parrying or no?
No.
Okay, so yeah, this is going to be just a flat attack against you. And that is 19 to hit.
Yep.
We'll get through. Oof, this is a bad hit for Torben. That is a total of 18 damage to your stamina, minus, I believe, 7 from
7, yep.
Yes. Do you wish to spend your one and only fate point to further mitigate this?
It'll mitigate it by 1.
The faith point is, hold on, where to go? You can reduce the source of incoming damage by your faith attribute. So it'll reduce it by
That's
1.
1. Yeah, not worth it.
Yeah, not worth it.
It's going to get me 0 no matter what. So
okay. You're going to take a crippling blow. Stunned again. Makes sense.
Stunned again.
That was his first attack against you. And knowing what you did to his knight commander, he is now going to enter a parry. Next up, another foe. This one will have to be the knight in the alleyway against you, Elias. And he is, all things considered, not that damaged. He does not look that winded. Clearly, he's been putting effort into it, but you're the one who's significantly more on the back foot, and he sees that. He is waiting.
He takes pity on me. See, he thinks I'm pretty.
He has his sword hefted, breathing heavily. You can see the torchlight in the background getting brighter as the mob is catching up. He looks down at you, just kind of like spits off to the side. And first of all, kind of you see his hand set against the pommel, tighten a little bit. He is preparing himself, and he enters a parrying stance. He is waiting. He's getting a little cocky here right now, and that's his turn. Now, I drew a Templar token. Do we want it to be one of you, or do we want it to be the mysterious 4th?
I feel like cinematically we have to get the mysterious 4th in. If it's in that same space, let's go.
Okay. Then in that case, the mysterious 4th is going to roll an attack. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to say that there's 5 Templar tokens in the bag now, because this individual is an indomitable figure in their own right. So they get 2 initiatives. They fire a crossbow bolt from the shadows of the rooftops at the knight that's standing over you. They have advantage from where they were, so that will mitigate the disadvantage. And That's a really bad attack. That is a total of 13. They rolled very low, but the French knight, as he's standing there ready to press forward the advance on you, you hear a boot scuffing off of a shingle on one of the nearby rooftops. So does he. He turns his head to look while still maintaining his defense against you. And in doing so, hears the thunk of a crossbow bolt being loosened from above, and he just manages to sidestep it as there's a glint of silver in the moonlight, or metal, I should say, as it strikes off of the back wall of the alleyway. And he curses. He is going to attack again. Or rather, sorry, she is going to attack again. The woman on the rooftops is going to attack again. As we just see the silhouetted form overhead. Her attack will have disadvantage this time. Well, she would have gotten a critical, but because it's disadvantage, she'll have to take the 10 and 7 as opposed to the double 7s. So she indeed gets a higher number and will hit this guy. She is going to roll her damage, which is 2d8 plus 6. Got a 1 on one of her dice, which means she ignores complete damage resistance entirely. This is a total of, she deals 11 damage to this French knight, which is exactly his stamina. So even though that first bolt misses him, the second one very much catches him right between the eyes. He just gives kind of like a gargling hark as he gets like thrown back as the bolt slams into his face, hits the wall, and his blade just clickling, scatters against the cobbles. And you just hear the reloading of a bolt in the crossbow as other soldiers are coming running down the alleyway after you. But that is that figure's turn. And that was Mystery Ally's first turn. It's a Templar token next. Is it going to go to the Mystery Ally, or is it going to go to one of you? Because she's only done 2 actions so far.
Oh. Torben just took a stun, so maybe not him.
Maybe Esteval then, or Elias.
I think I can go.
Go for it, Elliot. Esteval.
I was parrying, but the guy that I was fighting decided to attack Torben instead. So,
yep. And then it's just Templars all the way down for the rest of the initiative. So
I think yeah. So yeah, it's 6 one way, half a dozen another. If I go out into the back, if I move a zone, is it still like dramatically feasible for me to fire from the back into the room?
Yes, especially because we've said that there are like soldiers like peeling off and moving around. So it's reasonable to say that at least some of the mob, you couldn't attack the French knight from outside, but you could attack the like members of the mob because they're probably like giving pursuit and more viable as targets.
No, I kind of want to remove this hero character out of the way. So yeah, if it's a little silly to go and move a zone and draw the crossbow, then I'll just keep at it with melee. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and attack with the longsword.
Go for it.
2d10 plus 5 is 17.
17 is enough to bypass his defense.
Fantastic. And again, that is so not used to melee. 1d12 plus 2. Bookmark that for safekeeping. A 7.
Okay. His armor is a 7, so unfortunately that does soak all the damage. Was that plus your melee weapon damage as well?
Yeah, because my melee weapon damage is only plus 2 is 5 on the dice.
Unfortunate. This is unfortunate. I'm learning really quickly. This is where like attacks like like a two-handed longsword or even the mace are effective, because if you get a 1 on one of those dice, it means you get to ignore damage resistance on all of them, which is pretty useful.
I do get one more action, and this might be silly, but we have Templars till the bottom of the list, so I'll go ahead and just melee attack again. Why not?
Go for it.
21 to hit.
Yes, indeed.
And watch, this D12 is going to be super low. Called it. 6.
Unfortunate. He is eating the attacks, but clearly you have a fight in you. Who's next? Torben, Elias, or your mystery ally?
Elias or mystery?
It's just the mob bearing down on Elia,
Yep.
right? Sure. Yeah, I think because it would be very funny if you get two damsel in distress Elia moments. So let's set him up for that, I guess. I think sort of having, like he was kind of scrambling, he's holding his side. And as he looks up, we see the arrow like thunk between the eyes. I think he kind of like looks down, realizes that running is is not gonna work, and he needs to get this mop just out of his way. So I would like to, for my first action, prepare, and my second action, do a furious blows. So I basically like I know that I have the cover from the roof. I slide back into the shadows as this moth comes, just like I just emerge from the shadows, sort of in like the middle of them,
Yeah.
swiping. Like that's sort of gonna be the plan.
Incredible. All right. You get to make an attack with advantage.
Please just kill them.
Mob is a great target to use Furious Blows against because they can't attack your lowered defense.
If is a 13 enough to hit them?
It is just not enough.
Okay, in that case, because to tell you why I asked it, I have a 5, a 5, and an 8, so I just wanted to see if I could use that
Got
crit.
you. Yeah.
But if I cannot, I'll take the 5 and the 8 for a 13 plus 3 for a 16.
Okay, yep, that'll hit them.
Okay. Then I roll damage twice with my longsword. Please die. I really need you to die. A total of 14.
Ooh, that's so fucking gnarly. They soak 3 of that, so that's still 11 damage to them. Jeez Louise. Yeah, you launch from your cover and begin to kill about a dozen of these men. You want to go ahead and continue to paint that scene for us a little bit?
Yeah, I think as I said, like I sort of emerge and I look up at this figure, or maybe I don't even, but I like sort of trying to see them, and maybe we see them looking down at me, sort of coordinating this. And it's like very much like a hold, hold kind of situation as they like file into the ally, like more men. They're passing me. And then Elia takes a deep breath and just suddenly like emerge and sort out, bashes one like their skull in with his shield, like splash against the wall. We see like the side of the face cave in, sword goes out, it's like stabbed in the back. They're like turning but panicking at what's happening. And before they can like sort of get their formation back, before they can get their bearings, he is like mowed down like a third half of these guys, and then he's sort of standing there like panting, blood from the side. But he's there now, and he just hopes that his ally is gonna make it so he doesn't die. He's in it.
Who's next? Mystery Ally or one of our remaining knights?
Torben can go.
Torben, you can go.
So, yeah, I am stunned now. So I'll clear that. 2 actions. First one going to round on the knight that remains. That's 3 10s. If only I I think that gets through his defenses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can only take one advance point, so
Yeah.
oh,
Alas.
damage. Of course, rolled a 1 on my damage die though.
But you ignore damage resistance. I mean, so
Wait, I do?
yeah, because I believe all is it all weapons that do that or
Oh,
no?
wait.
There's different ones, but they all go
Yeah.
off on ones.
Yeah, on a 1, you ignore damage reduction, and then this is with your longsword, right? Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
with that crit, isn't it doubled?
Well, and then plus your melee damage, that is 4 doubled to 8, and you ignore damage reduction, so he takes the full 8.
Okay.
He has to eat the full attack,
Yeah,
which
I'm okay with that.
is enough to bring him past his morale threshold. Um, uh, which actually brings him to his morale threshold. So he is this knight is like wanting to like surrender and flee, you know, like he is like cursing and like ready to retreat. I have a feeling though you're not gonna let him.
Oh, fuck no. No. Going in again for an attack.
Mm-hmm.
16.
16 just hits him. That meets his defense.
And then 14 on damage.
14 on damage. That is enough to kill him. What does this look like?
At this point, I think Torben is like every breath he exhales, it's spit spraying. He's just lost in the combat. It's not pretty. There's no art to it. He is just hacking at this knight until he falls.
Indeed. And lastly, the mystery ally gets to go again. There is the billowing of a fur cloak as the figure vaults the lip of the rooftop to descend down into the alleyway as well, boots landing in the mud, spattering the stone walls, and the sound of a blade being drawn from its sheath, sandwiching the mob between them and Elias. The blade is held, and they go in for the attacks against the mob. So, this is an attack. Yep, that first one hits. And this will be enough to take out the mob. Elias, I want you to be the one to tell me what this looks like as both you and this mystery ally begin to massacre the French guards that are now trapped in the alleyway with you.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. I think we see like sort of the camera from like Elia's point of view, and basically like he is fighting, and every time we like almost see the mystery ally, like someone steps into view, like it's almost like a very violent parody of like those dance scenes where they're like dancing in group and trying to get to like the partner they want. Where like he just like keeps slashing, stabbing, and he's like exhausted, right? It's very like stumbling. And then I think there's like one where he's like something moves here and he brings out his sword and then it gets parries perfectly by the mystery ally as we just stand there in a second and at our feet it's just dead soldiers.
Mm-hmm. Um, in the darkness of the alleyway, it's very hard to discern this person's features, but they throw their hood back, revealing a cascade of like red hair that drapes down her shoulders. You can see like the glint of like armor. And she looks at you and speaks in French, but it's accented as someone who's not a native speaker. And she says, "Do you have the Grail?"
Asks who? And I immediately like get away.
She says, she just like bats her hands and says, "We don't have time for that. You need to get to safety. I will go back for your friends. Keep running. Do not get caught."
He's just flustered at this incredibly badass person yelling commands at him. This is like his personal heaven. He nods and
Yeah.
immediately does as
She
she
like
says.
yells like directions to like a place that she tells you, go over to this place and fucking wait. Do not be seen. She
Yeah, he's
barks
just
that at
like
you.
nodding and immediately does as she says. Like not even a thought of not following.
Uh, Elias will be out of the combat, having gotten away. Let's clear the slate now, and we are back at it again. It's only
the mob now, isn't it?
It's only the mobs now. So it's just you guys against the one remaining mob here at the shop. Torben or Esteval, which of you goes first?
We're both kind of free of conditions. Do you want to take it? And if
I've done all the big name killing here. Esteval should get some.
Esteval, you get some.
spotlight.
Yeah, that's how you go.
Sure. I'll take the lesson learned and go with furious blows against the mob.
Go for it.
So yeah.
What does Esteval angry look like? I'm excited by this prospect.
I don't know if it's angry.
Well, no,
I
sure.
mean, just hacking and slashing, you know. But it's still. Let me see. I've only used it like once. So the attack test is normal. But if I'm successful, then that's a crit. 2 9s plus 5 makes 23.
There you go. There's your critical, Esteval. Take your advanced point.
Fantastic.
We'll and deal damage to the mob.
Okay. And so let me read really quickly. Furious blows. Roll your damage twice. Okay. Taking the higher result, and that is still D12 because I'm bad at this. And the higher one was 14. That's a 12 on a D12. Okay. So it's 14 doubled for furious blows before.
Double for the crit.
Yeah. Or double for the crit. Yeah.
You roll the highest and take the highest damage. And it sounds like you got the max damage here.
Yeah. So that's 14 doubled is 28 before reduction.
Okay. This mob was untouched. Esteval is single-handedly killing every single man here. What does Esteval's kind of like vengeance look like?
I mean, we get like Steel for Humans from the Witcher soundtrack in the background, and that's kind of, I feel like what Esteval in the zone looks like is just it's a choreographed dance is what it is. Just a whirl of that long sword just cutting through these French men at arms. Yeah.
Incredible. As the last French guardsman falls, there is silence in the street. Although this is a short-lived victory, since this cannot be the full brunt of the forces that would come to get you. This is merely a wave, so you should probably leave. But before everyone does, everyone gets to regain some health, some stamina, I should say, at the end of fights. Everyone regained 1d4 plus their vitality and stamina points immediately.
Sorry, it's 1d4 plus what now?
Vitality.
Got it.
Yep. Let's get a little bit
back to a 4.
Back to a 4. Let's get back to this this scene here, just a little bit between Torben and Esteval and the immediate aftermath. Just kind of want to see what this beat between the two of you is.
Torben will just be standing there panting covered in gore, grinning, and just wipes his face off on his sleeve. And then I think he's going to start making his way to the back door to make sure Elia got out. After looking at Esteval and making sure, clearly no sword holes, or he's got his head attached. He's fine enough.
And Esteval is kind of like in a distant, 1,000-yard stare from that, coming down off of the adrenaline high. But being a Templar and a trained soldier, he isn't in full shock and manages to like sort of in a very practiced motion sheathes the longsword and puts the shield back on his back. I hope Elias got away.
Torben, as you're stepping out the back of the shop and to look into the rear for signs of what's looking out back there, you step out into the empty. You see like a couple of dead French guards, but not a lot actually. And so far a cleared scene. And then you hear just a very quick bit of movement and feel the sharpened bit of a dagger pressing up against the side of your neck here, right around the artery, and a presence behind you, and a voice that speaks low and speaks to you. And we've established that Torben speaks French, so yeah,
yes,
speaks low and it says in French, "Now, killer, I'm not an adversary. I'm going to ask that when you turn around and we speak to face, you don't try to lop my head off. Are we at an understanding? I'm not a French soldier. I am not with the king. And I don't want to fight you, mostly because you're clearly a skilled fighter. Do I have your word as a knight of Christ?"
You better hope you haven't cut my beard.
"I would never sully a work of art such as that." And then she like takes like the knife away slightly, and sitting off to the side is this same woman. You can see that she is dressed, kind of like fur cloaked, blue, fur neckline, blue cloak, chainmail armor, leathers, but noteworthy crucifix iconography, both at clasps, and she has a crucifix hanging around her waist. Not wearing a Templar garb, but she clearly has some sort of Knight of Christ thing going on here. And maybe at the same time, this is like when Esteval is like walking out and sees this. She takes her dagger and is like sliding it back into her belt and just nods and says, "Your companion is safe. I've guided him to a location that you can lay low until you can securely reach your ship. I understand that trust is in short supply right now, but I would definitely suggest you follow me. Unless you want to contend with the rest of the forces that Philip is sending your way, let alone the Teutonics."
Are you with the Hospitaliers?
"No."
Elia is safe?
Elia is en route to being safe, and there's no small shortage of safety in that regard, but I have taken strong precautions to give you breathing room so that you can make it to your ship. We can talk when we are off the streets. Can we go now?"
Torben's going to look at Esteval.
Esteval had his crossbow in his hand, and we just see him like put it back, and it's in a sling over the shoulder as well. And he'll give a nod and do the two click and here comes Monsieur Neville out of whatever magical hiding place he goes into whenever combat begins, and it's just like runs up like into the crook of the arm onto the shoulder. And yeah, we're ready to follow.
And you follow this stranger, this mysterious ally, as elsewhere, torchlight goes down streets and a pursuit that has just missed you is now spreading out through the area. But you've successfully survived this dramatic confrontation, and I will reset the current pursuit points to 1. Let's take a break. I think we're going to cut to the three of you reconvening. There is a sort of a safe house that has been prepared. It's not much. It really is sort of a hovel held in the basement beneath sort of a cluster of businesses near the ports of Royan, largely disused. It's heavy with cobwebs and rats, but it has been lit and cleared away just enough to provide enough space to um like rest if need be. Elias, you're the first one who finds it here. You're the one who has the cargo, we should say, with you. And you wait maybe for about half an hour by yourself. Occasionally, you can hear the distant bells of the city ringing. You can see the glint of torchlight filtering in through slats that look out to the street. And occasionally, every time soldiers pass by, you wonder if they intend to enter, but no, they give this place no regard whatsoever. What is mostly just going through your mind in the time period in this quiet when you're not sure if you're going to see your companions again?
I think Elia has like his sword still out just in case. And I think we just hear him pray, you know, Pater Noster qui caelum est, in Latin, praying for Torben and Estevao. And I think we sort of see him close his eyes and we get like these very like fragmented image of smoke billowing, of other fights, of the ashes that he remembers of his family, like all these very violent images, all this guilt, and him wondering if he did it again, if he ran away and left others to die. Did he do it again?
Eventually, there is sounds and movement. A door is being opened. People are descending into your hiding space. Do you, without any questioning, recognize Torben and Estevao's footfalls amidst another person anyway?
I mean, I feel like the romantic answer has to
It has
be
to be
that
yes.
it has to be
Let's
yes, right?
Estevao and Torben will get to enter. This new mysterious ally will be at the back, but let's get this scene between the three of you reuniting after the battle here in this shelter beneath the streets.
Who enters first, Estevao or Torben?
What's the worst answer? And by worse, I mean better. And it's got to be Torben, right?
I feel like it has to be Torben.
Yeah, you get like just an armful of Elia. He just like
Oh, yeah.
immediately throws himself at you to hug you, muttering like 17 variations of God be praised, thank God, praise be the Lord, whatever. Just full on hug attacking you.
Torben, no complaints. Big bear hug probably lifts Elias right off the floor, and he's absolutely covered in gore. So I'm not sure how Elia will feel about that after, but
Yeah, that'll settle in a moment, I think. But for now, I think he like hugs you and then steps away, and then he will immediately do the same to Estevao if Estevao allows it.
Estevao is a lot more cold in his reception, and in fact, maybe isn't used to like that level of open affection, and just kind of like stands there with his arms sort of like half raised. Like, was that supposed to be an attack, or? But I think after a long moment, maybe just like one arm kind of like with no weight, no force, just kind of like wraps around Elia.
Yeah, and I think after a moment of that, when he steadied himself, he will step away. And then, like, his eyes fall on Torben. He says, tell me that's stairs?
most of it.
Yes, when I got there, the rest of the French forces were already dead. I think your friends held themselves quite capably.
Never doubted it. All of you know he is lying through his fucking teeth. But I think he will turn to the lady who spoke and says, uh, "Forgive me. I did not thank you for saving my life.
No,
Let me do so now."
there is no thanks necessary. She just cuts you off with a hand gesture and she says, "If I did not save your life intentionally, I wanted to ensure the safety of the Grail. But as we are, in essence, followers of Christ, I am pleased that you did not die."
And I thank God for sending you.
She just nods and is like, shouldering off a couple of her pieces of gear and like pacing around the space, being like, "It really isn't much. It's out of the way. Might be enough to lick your wounds and ready yourself for the day to come. You need to get out of this city."
No
We had
argument
a
here.
What'd you say,
we
Torben?
had a sorry.
No argument.
Go ahead, Elias.
I think Elia just says we had a boat arranged if they haven't left.
No, I'm aware. And tomorrow you will take that payment you secured. She, nods over at Estevao and the thing you guys got through the spy network and says, "You will leverage it to get out to, well, somewhere else. Frankly, you should not be in France any longer than is absolutely necessary."
Estevao still has his hand on his crossbow
Mhm.
and not pointed at the
Mhm.
woman, but like there's clearly trust issues going on. But
Yeah.
Says, "Now, are you going to tell us who you are, or are you going to leave us here in doubt?"
She turns to you and she like, arches an eyebrow and she says, "It has not yet been pertinent to the conversation, but I'm not going to withhold my identity. That would be impolite. I am Bridget of Nottingham. I am with the Order of the Holy Sepulchre."
Oh, Bridget of Nottingham, well met. You've already figured out who we are.
And then she turns to look at Elias again, unless you had more you wanted to say. And she says, "And you carry something of great importance, although I am quite certain you already knew that."
How do you know that?
The Grail has been of concern to many of the knightly orders for many years now, and the Holy Sepulchre, we have a particular interest in the sanctity and protection of sacred places. Artifacts and relics we have mostly left to the agreed upon arrangements made. Let's just say that I was intending initially to be taking the cup myself back to Jerusalem. But I understand that things have changed and that is not exactly possible at this moment. Nor would I ask or expect the three of you to lend it over to me, given all the trouble you've gone to thus far.
I think when she says like the grail, Elia does give Torben kind of a look like, "See, I told you it was a grail, not a cup." Just to be a little shit. And then, yeah, I think as soon as she sort of started implying that she wanted it, like very subtle, but Elia would have like gone a little defensive until she says that she doesn't want it. Can I ask what we know of this order, or would that be a history test?
No, I feel like at the very least, Esteval would probably know something here because Esteval is the one who's the more bookish, and it's something. So the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre are actually the first among equals here. They are the original order. They were founded a good I think 20 years before the Knights Templar. They weren't militant until around the same time, but they got their foundings by by occupying the Holy Sepulchre, the supposed site of Christ's burial. And as an order, they really do command a lot of respect. They chiefly protect the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. But they have themselves as like securing and ensuring that those places, ensuring their sanctity. They never really achieved the wide-ranging knightly archetype that the Templars did, but they do carry a reputation for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Elia in that case will say, I cannot give you what I carry, but a knight of your renown, someone of your skill, would be most welcome upon our journey.
I cannot accompany you. It is complicated. And another thing that maybe even only Esteval would probably clock as just know in his book learning, and it probably and would probably speak to the tension in the room as well, is that the Order of the Holy Sepulchre, the Order of the Holy Sepulchre reports directly to the Pope. They are like they operate directly beneath the papal throne, and it is, as you understand it right now, the Pope is very much your enemy, along with the King of France. So when she says that would not be possible, it's complicated, you probably are immediately like, yes, it really is, you would assume.
Yeah, and Esteval still has not taken his hand off the crossbow yet. So remind me again, why are you choosing to help us instead of take the cup back? It can't be as simple as you don't think you could best us in combat.
And I certainly could, except maybe this one here would give me a little bit of trouble, nodding at Torben. But she says, no, it has nothing to do because of my intentions to fight you. That is not what I'm here for. It's a rather muddled narrative. I'm quite not sure where to begin. This is all gone very poorly. This was not supposed to be what was to happen. My order, we typically travel in pairs, but I was sent by my superiors to secure the Grail from your Paris stronghold, from none other than the Grand Master de Malay himself. This was spoken of and arranged months in advance. And on my way to France, King Philip made his move. I, quite frankly, had a very difficult time tracking where the cup went, and managed to thankfully catch up to you before you got yourselves all killed. You do understand what it is I speak of, what it is you carry and have been entrusted with?
We've certainly had an idea, but that solidifies it.
Yes. You carry what most people call the Holy Grail, the cup that caught Christ's blood at his crucifixion.
Why does everybody want it? What makes it so useful?
Because it has power. Why else?
It didn't save the Grandmaster.
He didn't
What
drink
is
from
this?
it.
Glance over at Elias. What happens if someone drinks from it?
That depends if they are worthy or not. If you are not absolutely resolute in your faith, I would recommend not trying. The short answer is, frankly, I do not know, for I've never seen the cup myself, nor seen anyone drink from it. But there are things we know. And this thing has moved all over the various corners of the world over the last few hundred years to ensure its safety and keep it out of the wrong hands. It was to be moved again when the king made his moves.
Do you wish to see it? You say you have no debt upon me, but you did save my life.
If nothing else, I only wish to see it to ensure that it is what you carry.
And he will take it. And I
There's,
think like
despite her sort of like comport and bearing, there's like a genuine like excitement that bubbles like beneath the surface a little bit.
mhm. Yeah, and I think like Elia, as he said, like I think he does really feel like he is indebted to her, and like showing this is like his way of thanking her. So I think he very reverently, I think this sling is like it's it's ruffled, it's some blood is maybe even soaking through, but he like holds it and very reverently takes it out of the satchel and shows it to her.
Yeah. As she kind of like holds her breath for a moment just before it's unveiled, little exhalation comes between her lips as she looks upon it, and she just nods quite reverently and she says, "Well, that is indeed the cup of a carpenter.
Neat.
Put that away. Thank you, but the less it is exposed, the better."
He wraps it back up and puts it back.
So if you can't accompany us or send additional reinforcements to help us, how about clothes, weapons, anything?
She looks at you and she says, "I did not realize you were short in supply of weapons, considering the killing you've just conducted."
Never hurts to have more.
My resources are limited. I don't have a lot that I can work with. Frankly, it is, she gestures around her, this is the extent. I wish I could offer more, but this has been thrown together very hastily to ensure at least some degree of coverage to help get you out of this place. There is something wrong. I don't know how to speak of it better than that. My order, we learned early on through the Pope's court that there was to be an attempt to overthrow your order. We did not know a timeline. King Philip has been pressuring Pope Clement into giving the church's backing to this. And it was after Pope Clement made overtures to a third party that I was sent to retrieve the Grail from Paris.
A third party.
Yes, I believe you may be acquainted with one of them at least. The Order of the Teutonic Knights.
The German.
Yes. Yes.
We've met.
Then you are lucky to be alive.
So is he.
That I believe. They are ruthless and hungry for power. I do not know why Pope Clement has brought them into the fold. We have ideas and assumptions, but we don't know for certain. All the same, the Order of the Holy Sepulchre believes that were the Grail to fall into their hands, it would be very bad for the rest of us.
So, why don't we destroy it?
Are you mad?
Elia immediately like backs away from you, giving you the most offended look.
Yeah, and Bridget is immediately like, there is a fury in this woman's eyes.
If it's so powerful, so dangerous,
It is
perhaps it belongs in
holy.
no one's. So was Christ. And it's
Yes.
safer he's not here anymore.
He died for our sins, not for our safety.
I'm merely saying if the cup is such a risk, perhaps we take it off the board. How do we know whoever we hand it to will Be a responsible bearer.
We will hand it to the location we were told to hand it over by our Grand Master. How could it not be holy? How could it not be safe?
The other order is turned against us. The Pope has abandoned us. They're
Then we
men,
shall fight
Elia.
him until the very end, and God shall be with us.
If I may speak again, while I understand where you are coming from, nodding at Torben, that is a very much a clash of interest. You would not. Sure, you may be, as you said, taking it off the board, but I'm afraid then we would be enemies, our order and yours, family. This cup could have been destroyed many times before by many different men, all who share perhaps a similar sentiment, but it has remained. It has endured. Do you think perhaps that is because of all the many men who came before you, the many women who dedicated themselves to the cause of its protection, the many who've sought it out before with earnest or foul intent? They, in the end, may have seen a greater purpose to keeping it very much intact. It is sacred. It is holy. It is an artifact. It would be, if nothing else, a tragedy beyond measure to remove this most sacred of items from our world. You don't have to agree with me, but I simply ask that you do not be hasty in it.
Torben will just stare her down for a moment, but he will look away first. And I am at the service of my order.
I am pleased to hear it.
We should get some rest.
Yes, I was just about to suggest that.
You wouldn't happen to have any food with you, would you? This one.
I have some meager supplies for the travel. You are welcome to it. I will do what I can to shoulder the burden of the watch so you can at least perhaps tend to your wounds a bit better this evening. Things will be better on the ship, I assume. I have not laid the path forward there. You are steering that vessel. I just want to get you out of trouble. The last time the Grail came this close to being captured was 1244, the siege of Montségur, and we do not want this to be any worse than that instant. So preferably, the more distance you put between you and your pursuers, the better. And you need to be rested and full of stomach to accomplish that. Eat, rest. I will do what I can to ensure a peaceful night.
One more question before you go. Where will you go next? Will we see you again?
It is unlikely. I must return and reconvene with my order. It's already suspicious now that we do not follow the Pope's explicit orders and have not been folded into certain plans. We wish to keep as much distance between the artifact and you three as possible, but not everyone in my order can be trusted as an ally. I must return. As to whether or not our paths will ever cross, it seems unlikely. But in all things Christ has planned, stranger things have happened. God's will acts through us all.
Totally ignoring Elias's one last question thing, Torben's just going to say, "What's this to do with Avalonis?"
Trenton says, "Where have you heard that name?"
Doesn't matter.
She kind of cocks her head a little bit and says, Avalonis is Well, it's the ultimate question. It's the destination for us all. I don't know what it is. I just know that it is. It's what we strive to reach. Joseph of Arimathea, according to the writings I've seen, he took the cup, founded a company of followers, and for centuries it was written that the Grail remained safely in a place known as the Vale of Averone, to some the Vale of Avalonis. I don't know what it is. I don't think there are many who do. Eventually it left it. The Grail is returned to Jerusalem, discovered there in shortly after the founding of your order. It has been moved around a few times, but it has never returned to wherever it was that Joseph of Arimathea took it. Maybe it's a place. Maybe it isn't. It's everything, anything, and nothing, as far as the texts are concerned.
I'm going to go wash up.
Rest well, big man. She turns her focus back to you, Esteban, and like looks at your crossbow, and she says, "It is difficult to rest when one is on edge at all hours of the night."
We're used to taking shifts anyways.
And I will handle it myself.
You must forgive me if I don't trust you.
And you must forgive me if I insist, because if you're exhausted and haggard and easily toppled by a wind like you seem to be in your current state, it makes your quest rather disagreeable to my interest, does it not? You can go back to being on guard when you're on a ship. One night, tonight. Can you just rest and recover?
Probably not, but I'll try anyways.
Good boy. I'm going to step outside, patrol, survey. And she gives you very explicit instructions for like, if she knocks this way, like it means trouble, blah, 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 blah. And then leaves you to yourselves to eat and take of her meager supplies. But you will all get the limited benefits of a downtime if you choose to rest, just in the form of recovering health. Once you're on board the ship, you'll be able to do a more expansive downtime. But for the meager environs that Bridget of Nottingham has provided, it gives you room to sleep and also tend to your wounds a little bit. So as long as you are agreeable to actually engaging in rest and putting a bit of trust in Bridget, you get to recover 2d3 points to your stamina.
Does she have enough herbs to make a salve?
She's been traipsing through the wilderness. I'll say yes.
Or at least give it an attempt, because
Yeah.
it is a difficult role anyways.
Sure.
Cool. So wait, one more time, is 2D
2d3. So you can roll 2d6 and divide it by half. That's my usual go-to. 1 to 2 is 1.
Divided by 2. Cool. Actually, we have witch dice, which does D3s.
Oh, there you
go.
I should have been using witch dice this session. I'll do it next time. I was using a separate die roll.
Oh, whoops. I said keep highest, but that's not true. So 5. Cool. I'm going to... So it is a difficult intellect craft, which I think is 21.
Difficult. Let me get my chart up here. Is 21. Yep, you're correct.
Cool. Intellect plus craft, and nobody can help me. But still, it is plus 6. Not enough.
Not enough. Unfortunate, but maybe you'll have more supplies to work with in the future.
How does regaining health work?
You regain stamina is if you roll
The stamina, yeah.
It's 2d3 dice and then take the total.
2d3.
Yeah, 2d3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a meager rest, but it's something. And then
it's higher than I started.
Exactly.
We're back up to 8, which I guess is half, so not too bad.
The events of the night unfold. You rest, you eat, you tend to your gear and your wounds and whatever else you can. The following morning, with Bridget's assistance, you will be escorted, led to the docks, evading a few patrols, and getting on board your intended vessel, payment brought, kept below decks, and the ship will begin preparations to make headway. And we will end the session as the ship leaves dock and begins to sail down the river towards the sea, venturing south along the coast to get you further away from Paris. Let's go to stars and wishes, everyone. Next time we will talk about you'll actually get proper downtime for advancing and all that. What you all can do is if you want to look at the advancement stuff in advance, obviously, you can do that. And because it's time at sea, and so you will have plenty of time. There might actually be a couple of windows for some downtime, so you might get like more than just the basic actions. But I will also be keeping track of how many Sundays pass as well during this time. So that's some automatic healing you guys get. So I will be very shocked if you guys aren't back up at your full by the time the ship lands at your destination. But yeah, whoever wants to go first, please be my guest.
I'll go. So obviously, the very first star that I wrote down was, I think we need to make this just a little more horny. So thank you, Jazzy, for making this a little more horny and getting that good Catholic boy horny drama in there with Elias. A star for the dice this session, which were incredibly kind to us. No one died or really even came close to death, which was refreshing after our last one. I really enjoyed Estevao's acrobatic choreographed dance of mowing down the last of the mobs. It was nice to see him get to do that without having a broken arm or leg. And yeah, obviously Bridget gets a star. Looking forward to I mean, our paths are going to cross again. I'm looking forward to that. It's fun, but I like the lore dump was really great. I'm looking forward to now that we know it's the Teutonic Order that is our big issue here. I'm looking forward to seeing Sir Eyepatch in that light and what more we'll learn.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go real quick. Also, star to we need to make this more horny. Star to just the absolute body count that was happening there. We got to have Estevao and Torben wrecking shop, and then Estevao got to kill a bunch of dudes. Torben looking on pridefully. Star to getting hugged by Elias. That was great. And also star to like, will we see you again? It was very tickled. I'm glad that the lore dump that you like that. I wanted to make sure it felt very like natural. I didn't want to be too expository because there are like I could have gone into more detail, but I was like, no, I feel like this is the right amount. But hey, possible some things that were mentioned that could be followed up on in the future. Who knows? Part of like my grander timeline that I've decided as to like what's happening and what's been happening throughout the centuries. And yeah, I'm so excited that you guys made it out, that you guys are now out at sea, getting distance between you and the forces that have been harrying you thus far. Obviously, you're still going to be landing in English territory of France, but you're a hike away from the borders of Navarre, getting ever closer to your destination of Lisbon. And I'm so excited for you guys to get out into the wilds because in the untracked places between settlements, it's probably where some more mystical stuff is going to come into play, especially now that you have like the absolute in fiction confirmation that is like you're carrying a holy relic of the divine, and like we'll see what happens. Also, I also want someone to drink from the cup, but only someone who really feels like they're worthy. So we'll keep talking about that. But yeah, no, this was a fun session, and yeah, I was really satisfied with how that combat felt. It was fast and furious, tense at times, but it didn't feel. It felt like we had a rhythm, and I like that. And the narrative was great. So y'all are great players. Those are my stars and wishes.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take over. I mean, yeah, I also have to give a star to Let's Make It a Little More Horny. Just it was the absolute right move. Um, star to murder wife crossbow shot from the rooftop to open it up. Um, yeah, I liked how the combat allowed Elias to have the ability to run away, but not like fully disengage narratively from the fight. So we all kind of had our spotlights and chance to shine. And Torben just going can opener on the Knight Commander. Just it's always fun to see somebody who's good at what they do. So that was really fun. And yeah, the lore dump, I liked it as well. It felt like the right time to have some exposition. And yeah, just kind of like Star in general for like the past like 2 or 3 sessions where we've made some decisions about like where narratively to raise our own pressure, but this all felt very like directed in the sense of like rising tension, here's the big fight, and everything just seems to be slotting narratively into place in a way that I really like. So yeah, good stuff all around. And wishes, yeah, again, it's like I'm excited to see the mystical stuff start to make more of a presence in the story. And yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to the most, I think. That's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, echoing everything that's been said, but I especially liked how everybody like described their fight scenes in a way that really made sense for their characters and that really like highlighted the difference between all of us, I think. Like we had Torben just whacking, like just attack, 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 more, 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 just like fucking going for it. And we had Esteval. I really like sort of that moral mini arc that he went through, like, oh, I am best at range. I will try, but that's not working. And I do need to back up Torben, but like very much like I am basically here to give Torben room to just murder. Like that's not my thing. And I thought that says a lot about like Esteval and how he sort of falls into the group. And then Elia having these opportunities to be like a bit more like a guile hero, like I'm using my environment, I'm trying to sneak out, I'm not fighting in the big group, I'm trying to get away first. I felt like those were all like very telling about their characters in like a very interesting way to use combat like that. So that's a big star. I mean, obviously, Murder Wifey. I love her. Elias is so stupidly in love with her. Absolutely embarrassing for him. She's like the first religious person that he's met since this has all happened. And she's like the first person who's like, this is important. And you are carrying the Holy Grail. And that is really, that's God telling you to do that. And he's like, oh my God, tell me more. Keep talking to me. So very excited for that. Also, I love the contrast between her yelling at Elia and then going full flirt on Torben. I thought that was also very telling about her character, where she sort of like slips into these roles that she thinks are most efficient to get her what she wants. I thought that was a really cool way to sort of introduce her. Um, yeah. I will admit that there were a lot of names, so if someone could like write up a tiny bit of the exposition, because my brain was like, I love it, but also I will not remember any of this. Um, Yeah, I like the difference in the hugs. That was very cute. Wishes. Wishes. I feel like Elia needs to go an apology tour towards Estevao and Torben, given what we've sort of established and given or like I have some scenes in mind in that way that I'd like to do. Um, given that we're gonna have some downtime. I'm very interested in downtime and advancing because I have enough for my builds. And I don't know, maybe drink from the cup. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
Any other stars or wishes? Then we will bring this session to a close and I'll end the recording.